Point of view is one of the most fundamental choices you'll make as a writer for your novel, and one of the easiest to get wrong. My name is Zara Hoffman. I'm the founder of Inimitable Books, and today I'm going to be breaking down the different types of point of view. First person, third person, and yes, even second person. Plus, how does tense play into it all? Here's what I see in manuscripts all the time. Writers will pick a point of view because it's what they've always written, or because their favorite author uses it, without thinking about whether it's the right choice for this story. And that's important because you might be writing a different point of view for different stories. The point of view that you choose affects everything: how close readers feel to your characters, what information you can reveal and when, and even the voice of your prose. So let's make sure you're choosing your point of view intentionally and setting yourself up for success. Point of view is simply the perspective from which your story is told. It answers the question, whose head are we in and how much access do we have to their thoughts? There are three main points of view. There's first person, third person, and second person. You have close third or omniscient third. So let's break these. First person uses I and me. The narrator is a character in the story. We only know what they know, see what they see, and feel what they feel. This is one of the most intimate points of view because we are literally inside the character's head. Their voice becomes the voice of the entire book. And you have past tense, where it can be an example of I walked through the door instead of saying I walk, which would be present tense. This is pretty common. The narrator is telling you something that has already happened. It is mostly invisible. And a lot of Inimitable Books titles are first person past tense. We have the Dark Depths duology by Kay Adams, the Gifted Mage duology by Holly Davis, and the Wanderer of Pages duology by Chantal Bedori. It works beautifully for these stories because each one centers on a single protagonist's emotional journey per chapter until the last page is told in a single point of view, but its sequel Beyond Ever After is told in multiple points of view. A Diamond Bright and Broken is in a single point of view, but its sequel, A Shadow Dark and Daring, is in multiple points of view, and both books in the Dark Depths duology are dual point of view. You see the main characters' adventures as they happen in chronological order, but it is all being told in first person past tense. Third person, especially the close third person, uses pronouns like he, she, they, etc., as well as character names. We are not directly in the characters' heads, but we are basically right over their shoulder and can see into their head to know what they are thinking as well. This is my personal favorite point of view because when it's done well, it feels invisible. In the Stormfall trilogy by Malin Holiday, she uses third person. She uses close third person for her three point of view characters. These titles use close third person past tense. It really helps the story keep going, not drawing too much attention to it. Then there's third person omniscient, which is the godlike narrator who knows everything. They know every character's thoughts. They know the future. They know the past and things happening in other locations. This narrator can dip into anyone's head at any time, and they can editorialize about the story. This is very dominant in classic literature. Think Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, Tolstoy. It's also not as popular currently because readers now expect a closer, more intimate experience. It's not dead, it's just rare and requires a strong authorial voice to pull it off. From the Diary of Agnes Jaeger, The Secrets of Academy uses a different point of view at the start of the book, and that is actually third person omniscient because it is told from the point of view of an eldritch terror. Third omniscient narration allows you to know the thoughts of every single character, but you want to be aware of this dangerous habit called head hopping. It's when you are in character A head for one sentence, paragraph, and then suddenly you are in character B's head if you are writing first person or close third. The way to fix this is to pick one point of view per scene. That way, even if you are switching points of view within a single chapter, it doesn't read like it's head hopping, but is instead an intentional writing choice. Second person point of view uses the word you as the protagonist. You notice the smell of smoke, or if it were past tense, you smelled smoke. It's a little bit hard to maintain. It can be very grating the same way that some people find the word I to be. It is used more often in short stories or experimental works, and it can be done well, but be wary. Not everyone will enjoy it. I've been talking a lot about the points of view and mixing in the tenses, but let's talk a little bit about the tenses now. Past tense is natural for storytelling because it mimics the oral storytelling tradition. It adds a little bit of distance, but it is normally invisible to readers. We have been trained to accept that convention and we still get lost in the story. But then you have present tense, which creates immediacy. And when done well, it makes readers feel like the events are unfolding in real time. The downside is that some readers find it distracting or exhausting, especially if your book is a long one. It also makes flashbacks trickier to handle. If your main narrative is in present tense and your flashbacks become past tense, some people might consider that a mistake. But if you're writing your flashbacks in present tense, then it's even harder to differentiate. So can you mix tenses? Yes, but only if you do it intentionally. So if you were to make the decision to write in present tense and then write all flashbacks in past tense, that's a choice, and then you have to be consistent. In Mother Mercy by Chandra Arthur, the prologue is written in third close past tense, but the main book is written in first present tense. And that shift allows readers to see a snapshot of someone's life and then follow the main character Abby throughout the story as she is searching for answers and doing her work. And again, you really want to check out our video about writing multiple points of view within a single story because, as I demonstrated just now, you don't need all of your points of view to be the same. They don't all have to be close third past tense. You can mix it up as long as you're intentional. And if you can't articulate the reason for mixing it up, then you shouldn't do it. So how do you decide which point of view is right for your story? How close do you want your readers to your protagonist? Do you want maximum intimacy and a strong character voice? If so, first person might be your answer. If you want intimacy but a slightly more flexible way of storytelling, close third might be better for you. And you should still have a strong character voice when writing close third. It is not exclusive to first person. How many perspectives does your story need? If you're following one character, first or close third works very easily. If you need to juggle multiple perspectives, close third is normally easier to manage because when you are writing, you don't have to constantly worry about who the I is referring to. Also think about what information do your readers need throughout the story. If they need to know things that your protagonist can't know, then you either need multiple points of view or an omniscient narrator. What's the tone of your story? Present tense amps up urgency, but past tense feels more classic and works for basically anything. And finally, what feels more natural for you? Sometimes the story tells you what it wants and you should listen to it, even if you have to change it later in revision. So if you're drafting in first person and it feels wrong, try close third. If your POV feels right, then just go with it and worry about maybe changing it later, only if you get that inkling or if you get feedback from other people that it needs a second look. You don't want to choose what point of view to write based on a trend. Now, if you are writing a certain genre and no one has written second person, then you probably don't want to write in second person, but that doesn't mean you have to pick third just because every other book is third. However, please know that choosing first for a genre that expects third might cause some problems with readers, so it is a pros and cons situation that you have to consider. Whatever point of view and tense you are choosing, please commit to it. If you are switching points of view and they are different types of point of view and tense, that's okay. But don't switch the tense within the same point of view if you can avoid it, minus the flashback exception. Let's quickly recap the mistakes that I have points of view writing. We have the head hopping where you are making changes and shifts in points of view that are not intentional and are confusing. Info dumping. Your first-person narrator shouldn't conveniently think about their backstory in paragraph form because that would almost never happen. And your close third narrator shouldn't suddenly know things that they couldn't possibly know. You don't want to write to a trend, but be aware that writing against genre conventions might cause some problems. And being inconsistent is always a huge problem because it's going to read as editorial mistakes rather than deliberate choices. If you want to dive more into point of view and other writing craft topics, please check out the Inimitable Writing Community and our course Query Ready, which is more than just learning how to write a query letter, but also how to polish your manuscript so it is submission ready. And let me know in the comments, what point of view do you write in and why? If you write in multiple kinds, let me know what your current work in progress is and what your favorite is. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next video video in this playlist where I will be breaking down genre expectations for mystery and thriller novels, because that is what Inimitable Books will be launching the start of 2026. Until then, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.